A lot of women really feel like they're failing at wellness, when really, the system they've been trying to follow was never built for real life in the first place. Hi, welcome to Let's Talk Ladies Lifestyle with Laure. This is your host, Coach Laure. So happy to be here today. This episode is going to be focused on the good bad food mindset and how it can just be absolutely exhausting to deal with day to day. Food doesn't need to be earned. This is our core statement for this episode. Food does not need to be earned. It's exhausting to feel like food has some kind of moral value to it, like you're either good or bad based on what you ate. If food feels heavy mentally, not just physically, this episode is definitely for you. It's so common for women to feel this way. I feel this way constantly. I know many women that feel this way. And I'm empathizing with that frustration, that guilt, and just that mental load that you have to carry when it comes to figuring out what you need to eat each meal and feeling like you're not eating good enough or what you are eating is affecting your worth or moral value. This good or bad mindset just perpetuates guilt cycles. It feeds them. And food then becomes the reflection of your worth, your discipline, or being good. Just because you're not sticking to a crazy, insane, rigorous diet plan 24/7, 365 days a year, that does not mean that you're not disciplined and that you're not motivated, that you're not working towards your goals. You can work towards your goals effectively without going to extremes. And it doesn't have to be so black and white as good or bad. I've talked about this in a previous podcast. I don't really put foods, or I try not to put foods in a good or bad category. Yeah, there are things that might not have as much nutritional value, but one bad choice should not make you spiral into shame, restriction, and overcompensation. That's the cycle that this shame and guilt puts you into. You feel so embarrassed and ashamed that you ate the way you ate. This leads you to say, well, I have to really be on top of my game the rest of this week. So that leads to some over restriction, some extreme dieting, and then trying to overcompensate for that by doing those extreme restrictions, dieting, rigorous exercise, etc. Mind you, I'm not trying to just say, do whatever you want all the time, 24/7, and you're going to reach your goals. Because if that were the case, everyone would be reaching their goals and I wouldn't have a job. It's just the fact that foods are so inherently labeled good or bad that it makes a lot of people feel pressured to follow certain diets, eat a certain way, act a certain way, that it takes away your own ability to really make those decisions for yourself and sustainably continue to make those decisions for yourself. An example of this I've actually talked about is like if you've ever thought like, oh, well, I already messed up today. I already ate like crap today. So like what's the point of continuing trying? This is just that mindset. It creates that guilt cycle of, well, look how horrible I did. This is horrible. I can't believe I did this. I'm the worst. And you just kind of go down that rabbit hole, especially if you just struggle in general with self-esteem, negative self-talk, not even just surrounding food and diet, just kind of in general in your day-to-day life. It ends up kind of bleeding into this area of your life as well. If you have kind of just self-esteem issues, confidence issues, it just ends up bringing itself out in situations such as your diet, food, etc. Now, like I said, yes, there are foods that are nutritionally better for you or might have more nutrients in them and are more beneficial, might have more protein to make you feel fuller longer. There are benefits to certain foods, most definitely. But this obsession with consistent, constant clean eating, especially just with the uprise of social media, and there's so many influencers out there now that just like walk through the grocery stores, pulling crap off the shelves and just being like, this is horrible, and you're going to poison your children if you give them this. And it's just the fear mongering it's a way for them to get views, clicks, likes, ratings. That's just how it is. It doesn't make it right, doesn't make it good, but it's just kind of how it is on the internet now. But this clean eating, it starts with good intentions. You may really be like, okay, I really want to try to, cut out dyes, seed oils. What's another big one? added sugars, any preservatives, things like that, because maybe they did their research, right? Some people do their research effectively, but others kind of just hear one person say it on the internet and take it and run. So even if you're starting off with those good intentions, a lot of times it is taken to such an extreme because there's just so much information out there, that over influx of information that we've talked about so much, that leads to this obsession of, well, it seems to be everything is bad or has some kind of possible negative effect. So it creates that rigidity and that fear around food, and just social stress of not wanting to go out anywhere because you can't ask the restaurant, well, are you cooking in seed oils? Are you doing this? Or you can, but you feel embarrassed. And listen, some people have to ask certain questions for dietary restrictions, but the obsession with constantly having to eat clean, perfect, minimal ingredients, yeah, of course. While that would be really great for everybody to be able to do that, that's just not the case. Especially a lot of people don't have the socioeconomic status to even have access to those foods. So the tighter those rules are that you're setting on yourself, the bigger that rebound usually is. When you are clean eating, or when you're doing not even just clean eating, but just with any kind of extremist dieting, that rebound back is usually, it's a killer, because a lot of the times whatever progress that you did make on this extreme diet, a lot of people don't really know how to properly transition back into just eating normally. So getting to that maintenance after, like, you do lose weight if you do this, like a keto or intermittent fasting, and like, no, these things are not terrible. They're great jump starters. They're great jump starters, but a lot of people just don't realize that that's what they are. They're jump starters. They're not meant to be sustainable for long periods of time. No one knows what to do after you're done with this. So how do I go back to a maintenance? All you've been doing is eating like this and you're losing weight, but okay, you lost the weight, so now what? I know I say that a ton. You lost the weight, now what? But I feel like that's just the biggest thing I see with a lot of people that come off these fad diets, GLP-1s, anything like that, that's like an extreme weight loss over a fairly short period of time. Because I myself lost 40 pounds, but I lost those 40 pounds over like 4 years. And it was done through mindful eating approaches, kind of just changing the way I'm approaching my diet, what I'm bringing into my home. When we've been talking about this clean eating and everything, a good rule of thumb that I like to stick to is anything that I bring into my home, I try to keep it fairly clean. So I try to keep it, dye free and all that stuff. I try to stay away from the artificial sweeteners. I try to eat more natural, products and things like that. Of course, I'm not perfect. I still have my Kraft mac and cheese cups. I still have, some candy. I still have little gummy bears. It's just because I've gotten to the point where I can have that in my house without overeating on it. But there are certain things that I never bring into my house because I know that they're weak points for me where I will just overconsume them. So it's not the clean eating that's the problem, it's the extreme of it. Because I'm a big supporter of clean eating, good clean ingredients, looking at your ingredient labels. It's not just about the numerical content on the nutrition facts. Always look at your ingredients. A lot of the times it might be great calorically or macro wise, but it can have some interesting ingredients in there. So what you shouldn't have to do is avoid events because you're avoiding food, or avoiding, social gatherings because you feel anxious, eating anything that's unplanned. Because life is going to throw a lot of things at you, and you're not always going to be able to plan for them. It's really important to have that mindset. A lot of people hear food freedom, or being like, oh, well, if I'm just eating whatever I want all the time, I'm just going to eat whatever I want, whenever I want, with no awareness or anything. But that's just not what food freedom is. It means that you have a trust with yourself. It's a lot of inner work that goes into finding freedom in your diet, because a lot of this diet restriction, obsession with dieting, obsession with weight, obsession with looking a certain way, It stems from a lot deeper of an issue. That does not have to do with even my scope of practice, but more in the mental health range. It has a lot of intrinsic properties to it that you really have to work on within yourself, and no diet, pill, or medication is going to help you. That you have to work on within yourself. You have to want to work on it within yourself. You could take a GLP-1 and lose all this weight, but if you have not changed that mindset and that intrinsic motivation and self-esteem and confidence, then you're going to end up bouncing back straight to where you were. I know you probably don't want to hear that, but it just is the truth if you have been struggling with a mindset to begin with weight, dieting, your physical image, anything like that. You need structure. Your structure is your routines, your nourishment, your patterns. Providing yourself with that support and that flexibility of kind of just being like, okay, you can take a breath. You don't have to be on all the time. You just don't. You don't have to be on, go, 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 crazy on top of everything all the time, because that is what leads to the extreme burnout that you see in so many women. That even on social media, influencers, they'll be doing great, amazing dieting, losing all this weight, exercise, reaching their goals, and then they end up just kind of disappearing off the face of the earth. And then most of the time, years later, you find out that they had some kind of eating disorder or health condition or something that came secondhand from those behaviors that they were promoting. And it's especially just happening more and more as the influencer market grows, especially the health influencer market. The amount of crap I hear, honestly, on a day-to-day basis from some of these people with just zero credentials is insane to me. And just the fear mongering. You can provide information. You can provide, hey, this might not be the best, or this can cause XYZ. You can provide that information to the public without making them scared to death that if they eat this, they're going to get cancer immediately. It's just, it's the way that you convey this information that's so important. And that's why I created my company and I created LifeTrack, because there's a need for this information to be given in a way that is supportive. It's supportive. It's not fear mongering. It's not making you nervous and uncomfortable and stressed about all these different things that you're doing and how they're so wrong and horrible. And it's one step at a time. It's the small wins lead to the lasting results. So the main takeaway that I want you to get from this episode is your food does not ever need to be earned. You're allowed to eat without proving anything to anyone or giving any excuses or information. You're allowed to enjoy your food and still care about your health. Those two things can coexist. And you're allowed to build consistency in your life and your lifestyle without punishment. So if this sounds like you or anything that you might be interested in, LifeTrack might be for you. And right now is the best time to get in at a very, very low rate. And that rate sticks for as long as you stay with us. Everything that you need will be linked in the show notes. I am so excited to get this show up and rolling. Video episodes will be coming soon, and stay tuned for our newest episode that will be dropping at the end of next week. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share with anyone that might find this interesting or helpful. Let's continue this journey and build a life you love together.